Hi, I'm Marissa Kozlov. Welcome back for another eMarketer Industry Voices, where we bring you perspectives on how marketers are working through challenges and what they envision for the future. With me today is Allison Parc, founder and president at Brenne Whisky, a spirit crafted at a third-generation farm distillery in France. Hi, Allison. Nice to see you.
Thanks. Hey, Marissa. Great to be here.
Allison, your career has taken you from the National Ballet stage to luxury retail and then to a distillery in Cognac, France. Very non-traditional background. How has that set you up to build a successful brand from the ground up?
Diversity in experience is one of the number one drivers for thinking outside the box. So when you are in a new arena, you really have this other experience that can help influence the decisions and the creativity and the vision that you may want to have in your new ventures.
So you're a female founder in a traditionally male-dominated field. What were some of the challenges you faced when bringing Brenne to market?
Oh my gosh, I still face challenges every single day. And I never know if it's because I'm a woman or if it's because of what my perceived age is, or just the fact that I created something that is completely unique and had never been done before. So instead of trying to focus on those kind of physical differences, I really focused on the product and education and awareness and accessibility. And I think that's really helped us thrive.
What advice do you have for other women working in male-dominated fields?
I think focusing on your dreams, your passions, what excites you, and following your gut's lead on that, and then creating allyships where you need to, people who, I've definitely been in meetings where I was interrupted multiple times, and then stepping out and realizing I really need to make some allyships in those meetings to have someone and give them the ability to say, hey, I think Allison had something to say, let's pivot back to her. So just making sure that I'm in clear communication with what I want, right? That would be my advice. Just make sure you're in clear communication with what your wants are and how you think you can better affect the company and grow.
Yeah, absolutely. Being more proactive and bringing more value to the table. So in thinking again about perceptions, female whiskey drinkers are on the rise, but whiskey is still considered a quote unquote man's drink. That is clearly outdated, but it's obviously still very prominent within the industry's advertising and marketing creative, and most of that creative still features men. Do you think this is beginning to shift at all?
I think so. Thankfully, there's a lot of work being done by a group called Our Whiskey, and they really call up the brands to diversify their community in the sense of perspective and advertisement. So showing more diversity in skin tone, in gender, and everything like that. So really trying to bring more inclusion in the advertising segment.
Well, in your advertising, are you targeting one demographic over another?
No, we think with Brenne, it's such an approachable flavor profile. And I really think it's a gateway into whiskey. So really anyone who is new and looking for a place to start in the big category of whiskey, we want to welcome them in. And also anyone who's on the aficionado collector side, because again, we offer something that is technically sound and really beautiful and very innovative. But again, in terms of that marketing, we really are trying to be that hand extended and be the approachable, the friendly, the welcoming single malt.
Let's talk about brand discovery, something that has changed dramatically in the past year. You mentioned that when starting the business, you were hand delivering cases of Brenne via city bike to bars and restaurants and stores throughout New York City. Now consumers have some other options for ways to purchase the brand. You can either go to Drizzly or through Brenne's own e-commerce website. So with a lack of sampling and in-person events in the past year, how have these direct-to-consumer sales impacted how Brenne thinks about brand discovery?
I was definitely concerned. As you mentioned, events and that try to buy, that sampling aspect has been a major part of how we have grown over the years. And it really, I think, comes down to what is the consumer willing to pay for that brand discovery? Because at our entry price whiskey, it's on average $60 a bottle. And what we found with the softening of the laws in the US that allowed us to set up our own virtual DTC site, direct to consumer website, we found that people aren't shy of doing that $60 try to buy spend. So that's really been an incredible experience for us. We've had a majority of our, first 1,000 shoppers to the website in the first 3 months were new to our entire brand.
Wow, that actually is a really interesting case study right there. And it's fantastic to see that consumers are still willing to try and experiment without being in person with the brand.
Yeah.
So, since launching the business in 2012, you have established a significant social media presence. I assume that also contributes to your online sales. What go to market and audience development tactics did you use to build this following?
Oh my gosh. There were no tricks up our sleeves, right? This was just about authentic engagement. Um, I think often people look at social media and assume it's a one-way conversation street. You're the ones developing the content, pushing it through, and trying to build up that engagement. But that word engagement is not just a metric, it's a real action. And so for us, it's always been looked at as a conversation. How can we learn where our community is today and meet them where they are, create content for their needs, not necessarily where we are, right? And a perfect example of that is I would love to talk about the varying temperatures of fermentation can have on the net effect of the wash, right? But like way too technical for people. They might just want to know, how can they make an easy cocktail for their at-home cocktailing experience? Okay, we'll pivot and create that for you. So I think making sure that we're constantly engaged in a conversation with our community helps us to build the right content, which then attracts new and an extended group of followers.
Well, outside of social media, what are some other marketing channels that work well for Brenne?
Yeah, we do a lot in the event space. So private events, corporate events, that is really a place that we can connect directly with our audience. Of course, as so many people have, we shifted a lot of those events to Zoom and online media over this past year. And I see that may continue because we've been able to reach different countries, different, nationalized groups and things like that. And then we will always get back out and do our in-person events as well.
Well, lastly, Allison, what can we expect next to see from Brenne?
You'll have to stay tuned. You'll have to keep watching our social media.
You have me on the edge of my seat. Well, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Marissa. This has been wonderful.
And thanks to all of you for tuning in to Industry Voices. We'll see you soon. And until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and please wear a mask.
There's magic in the air. Or maybe it's just business and tech getting along. VTEX Commerce Platform helps you find the harmony between business and technology. VTEX,